Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of You and I Builder Live, where sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but I really hope it works today. So, we are in for a super special episode. Today, we're going to celebrate our 1 year anniversary, except it's kind of like 1 year and several months because I forgot all about this back in February. My name is Maria Gabriela Ochoa Perez-Wechter, and today I am joined by. You are on mute.
I'm muted. Now I'm not muted. What a great start. Brad Tilden. I am an outbound PM here at ServiceNow for our agent experience products, including UI Builder.
And I'm on his team. So today, if you weren't here last February, we started off the show with our iconic app, You and I Hungy. I like to think that was the peak of our app naming scheme. It's gone downhill from there, and it's only going to keep going down. So today we're going to see how fast we can build it and if we can get farther than we did last time in the same amount of time. The app is, I'll let Brad introduce the app.
Sure. So the app is a grocery list making app for my family. So that was what we were going to do. We go through a lot of groceries and I do all the grocery shopping. And so I wanted an easy way for the rest of my family to add items to a shopping list and then be able to shop for them. So yeah, today we're going to basically do the same thing, but probably differently because it was a while ago when we did this the first time. We do have I have a stakeholder in the chat, I believe. So my son is watching and is going to maybe pipe in at a certain point if he thinks I'm doing something wrong, maybe, or at any time. But yeah, so we've got grocery list. We have an app with some tables in it. It's got a grocery list table and a table for all of the items you could add to a grocery list, and then a couple of many-to-many tables in there. Caleb, go ahead and write something in the chat if you're watching. I think he is. Can't actually see him. Yeah, so we're going to do this. So we're going to add some data resources. We'll use the new data binding. We will, use some buttons to add some things to a list or remove them from a list. We'll do some searching, and maybe we can do all of that in one episode, but we'll see here. Now, Gabby, anything else to add?
No, I kind of looked through the old episode to kind of prepare for today's episode.
Nice.
And
I did not.
Are we starting? We're doing a portal experience again, right?
I'm going to do a base app shell experience for reasons that I'm not going to share for a couple of months.
Okay, awesome. But I was just looking back at the episode, and I think the most striking difference between then and now is actually opening up the data resources. It was so awful to show on camera just the big data resources drawer and then trying to do anything above it. It is so much better now.
Nice. I just got a text and he says he can't comment, so I can't troubleshoot that right now. But he's watching at least. All right. So yeah, what we want to do on this episode, we're going to try to return all of the possible items. And then we'll try to add an item to the list. And then if we get there, we'll add some searching. So hopefully that works. So I guess the first thing we need to do is add a data resource. So this is a new Washington Store Release 1 thing where we have this new data resources panel that works a little better and surfaces our most common data resources, and I can make it bigger and move it around. So we're going to add a lookup multiple records data resource. And I don't know what any of the table names are because Gabby set all of this up for me earlier.
They're very basic.
But what's the app name? Is it just UI
_Hungy?
Okay. Oh, are we running into the issue? we're running into the issue. Oh, it's SNC. It should just know that, but
oh, there it is. It's U_I. What?
Did you have an ampersand in there or the and?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's all right. So we want all of the available items. For the current list. So we haven't even done that yet. So do we have a list created?
Technically, we have one.
All right, let's go to the back end and look at what the data model looks like. It's this one. So there's a list. So let's do a couple of things. Let's grab the most recent list is there an active? There's a state. All right, so let's grab the most recent list, and then it should have a bunch of available items associated with it. So there's a lot of stuff there. Let's go X. List, we're going to go descending. We're going to grab one, and we'll say created.
So
how many things are in this list? There's 2 things in the list. Why am I getting more than 2 in UIB?
Are you on the right? Why is that?
Let's do this. Let's close it. We're going to save the page, and we're going to do a hard refresh.
Because I see 2 lists available, and you were looking at the right one, but the numbers it was giving you was from the available items list.
There we go.
There it is.
Live list. So that's the current one. All right. So let's rename this to lookup current list. All right. And then let's set a client state parameter called current list. So much refreshing happening. I think we're going to do a couple of things. So we're going to give it an initial value and cheat a little bit. I can't copy that. All right, we'll copy here. So we'll cheat a little bit here and give it an initial value. And then on the success event, we will also populate it. I don't think that's going to be right. So we are going to populate this eventually, but for now, we're just going to hard code that value. So then let's add another data resource that looks up all of the available items that I have for that list. So we have 2 MDMs. We have an available items list and then an items list that are actually associated with the list. So we did this to make the UIB part of this a little easier. So we could just use out-of-the-box data resources and not have to build our own. There it is. It's the first one. So we're going to say this is items associated with, is there a list record or a list field on this? How are we working here? So if I go available items.
I'm on mute. So
oh,
the item to list table has the item and the list record. And anytime that a record gets created there, it'll delete the record from available items. But anytime that record gets deleted, it'll create the record in available items.
So available items, but available items isn't associated with a specific list. It's just that. I think that works. Yeah.
Did I associate it
I don't
with the list?
I don't
No, I
think
did
it
not
needs
make
to be
this.
associated, so I think that's fine. So we have 11 total items here, and we want some data around those items. So we want, we've got different aisles. So let's start with a name. So what kind of names do we have? Cherries, bananas. These are all things that we eat. Ketchup, milk.
Yeah, apparently something I learned from the very first episode is that Brad's family cannot live without ketchup.
That is true. If there's no ketchup, we riot. Well, I don't riot, but well, actually I do. There are things that I have to have ketchup for. So I guess let's start with name. We'll have the sys ID.
You should grab the item. I mean the number.
The number. All right.
The number is a very important field. This is a super important functionality.
Let's go number. Let's go sys ID. Oh, then the number has emojis in it. That's incredible. I love it.
Pro tip, App Engine Studio doesn't let you add emojis, but if you go to the advanced view of the table, you can edit the numbering there.
Who knew? You can add emojis to the numbering. And then, we'll do HEB and Kroger aisles.
What's an HEB?
Oh, any Texans in the chat want to? HEB is the best grocery store in the world. That's about all we need to say about it.
I'm sorry, but if there's a grocery store out there called Piggly Wiggly, that one wins.
Oh, I do like high explosive banana.
Highly explosive banana. That's exactly what that is.
All right, so we have all of our items. We've got 11 items in there. So we're gonna do. So we want all of our. So what I'm gonna do is put a search box up here, and then we're gonna need another column. So when I was laying this out, I almost just used 2 containers because I knew I wanted one at the top and then one in the middle. But I also know that column layouts are really flexible. And so if I just use containers, if I end up needing more columns, it's going to make it difficult. And in my head, I was like, I think it'd be easier if I just had containers. And I was like, no, columns are better. And then later on, I realized, hey, I'm going to want 2 columns in the second layout. So it was very fortuitous. So let's add another column. So I want the list of items on the left that are in my list, and then on the right, I want like available. And so
why don't we do it backwards? Let's do available items on the left.
Okay.
And items on the list on the right.
All right. I'm like programmed to the left list being the skinny one, but all right.
I don't know what you're talking about. This is how you did it a year ago.
I'll get out of. Did I do it like this?
Yes.
Well, who knows?
I want to have a good comparison screenshot. No pressure.
All right, so we're going to make this the list of items that are actually on my grocery list, and this is going to be the list of items that I can add. So let's go ahead and add, we probably want some sort of label in here. So let's add a heading. Let's call it.
Actually, I just realized something. I had meant to do this at the start of the show, but let me see if Earl can make my, let's see if I can, no, don't make my whole face. No, let's see if I can share my screen. So this, let's see if it works, Earl.
All right.
No, not that. Not that either. There it is. So this is our goal for today. This is how it looked like a year ago.
We're going to destroy this, I feel like.
Okay. No pressure, but I just wanted to set expectations. Let's see where we get to with our very important stakeholders in the chat.
I think we're going to beat this. So we have our available grocery items. I don't think I can add padding in a column, which kind of annoys me, but that's all right. If the UIB team is watching, just column. Yeah, there we go.
If the UIB team is watching, just know we love you guys.
That's true. The reason it's going to look better is because UIB is so much easier to use now than it was a year ago. I just got a text that says, is blueberries in the list? Because that's Caleb's favorite fruit. So if it's not in there, we should add it.
I think it is. Let me make sure.
So instead of him making comments, I'll just read his text off my Apple Watch aloud.
Perfect.
So we're gonna rename this because I never rename data resources, and then I always wish I had. So sorry. Yeah, UIB team means the inbound and engineering and design teams for UI Builder, which Gabby and I interface with a lot. In fact, we saw like a future-facing thing this morning that is going to come out that is really awesome. So we're going to call this
super cool, but we can't tell you guys anything.
Information may contain forward-looking statements. These statements are intended.
And to introduce those of you who may not be familiar with that is the reason you don't give your friends voice recordings to make AI phrases with. That recording was saying something called safe harbor, which basically means that you should not make purchasing decisions based off of any forward-looking statements that we make, because we're product managers and we know things that are coming in the future. You should only make purchasing decisions based off of what is in general availability.
Yeah.
Serious time over. Oh, May be coming. You're right.
So we're going to make each of the items a card-based container. This is one of my favorite. I've kind of fallen in love with this component. That may be a little strong, but I like it a lot. This card-based container component, because it is a clickable card, basically, that you can add a bunch of stuff inside of. And it looks kind of nice. And so with our repeater, there should be more than 2 items in our. I didn't bind anything to the repeater yet. So I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's enable styles. I do love the stylized text component. So let's give it 5 columns and 1 row. It'll give us more rows if we need it. We're doing large for all of our spacing. And then we need to bind our grocery items list to this repeater. So this is kind of one of the most basic things that you do in UI Builder, but it is something that you're going to do a lot and really important. And so I'm going to take, and again, this visual data binding is maybe the most favorite feature that we have released recently for me. So I'm going to take the output of this data resource, and we have this lookup to grocery items. This one doesn't actually exist. I renamed it. And then we are going to pass in this results into the repeater. So the repeater is expecting some sort of array. One of the nice things about this visual data binding is it tells me, like, hey, this is an array, right? It's the square brackets. These are all little objects. So I'm going to pass in this array because that's what the repeater is expecting. All right.
Oh my gosh, it shows multiple cards.
This is another. So in Washington Store Release 2, which came out May 9th, I only remember that because we were at Knowledge. We changed the stage, so that we call this stage 3.0. It's kind of our 3rd version of the stage. And so this is now a true WYSIWYG. This is showing you what you're going to see when you look at the runtime for the most part. It's also interactive, so it has things like plus signs that you wouldn't actually see in the runtime. But it's going to show you all of the items here, and you see the header. The header is not clickable, if you are wondering, but it does show you what this page is going to look like. So it just, if you're doing styling, you have to do a lot less previewing or saving and opening in a new window.
Speaking of which, can you hit save real quick?
I can.
I thought the numbers came back. Where's the green number?
Oh, it's only when you mouse over it.
Okay, I like it. I love how if you only see the first episode and then this episode, that's never gone away.
That's right. We did take this away in Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Yeah. So yeah, technically we fixed a glitch, but yeah. So in the card-based container, we're going to add some info about our grocery item. And so, well, we talked about stylized text. Let's use them. So we do want to workflow it, but we don't need to say that here.
11 times.
So one of the nice things is that this data binding is contextual. So I now have, since I'm inside a repeater, I have access to the repeater items. And so it tells me what my index is. This can be helpful for a few different things. So like I could do some styling based on this, I think with the CSS here. But we're just going to go for the value. We're going to go available item and then display value. So cherries. So we should get, oh, and there's the blueberries. That's just for you, Caleb. So let's go H3. Seems right. It's still a lot of spacing. It's all right. So cherries, blueberries, bananas. Let's see. I still do a lot of testing, even though it's a WYSIWYG now. So let's see what it looks like. I just got a yay text. All right. So we have all these items. So I think we're going to pause on this. So it already looks better than it did before. But we're going to now make our list on the right. And what we want to do is when we click on one of these things, it goes away here and it comes over to the right. All right. So we want to go to the right here. Let's add another heading. And we'll call it grocery list. He wants to know if anyone can solve a Rubik's Cube. He's very into speed cubing. So anybody in the chat, you can solve a Rubik's Cube, please say that. All right. So he texted me about it like 3 times. So we've got grocery lists, and then we'll add a, do we want a repeater? Yeah, well, let's do a repeater. I think if we get in a later episode, we could do the version of this where I'm at the grocery store and have a shopping list. And then in that case, we'd want to use the checklist component. But for right now, let's stick with grocery list. That would be a great thing to do maybe after August. So let's go ahead and go add after. And we'll add another repeater. And so actually we need another data resource. Why did that not come in?
Oh, it looks like
Earl's into speed cubing.
Yeah.
Oh, we should do some sort of competition at some point.
Oh no, I have Travis's next year's knowledge lab make us a Rubik's Cube component.
Oh, a solver. A Rubik's
Cube.
I mean, those are all over.
Oh, I wasn't thinking a solver. I was thinking like an actual Rubik's Cube you would have to solve by like clicking around.
Yeah. I mean, there's crazy ones. He has like a 12-sided one that like I don't even know how to solve a 6-sided one. But X, S, and C. And then we want item to list, I think, probably here, right? And then does this grocery list already have items in it?
No.
Okay. So
let me add one real quick.
List is then take it off of the available, or will it automatically do that?
It'll automatically do that. Yeah, guys, I'm sure none of you guys have ever experienced a 20-minute turnaround on an ask. Like, geez.
I did tell Gabby 20 minutes before we started, oh, I was thinking about this and we need this other table and this automation on it. And she put it together. So let's go. Ooh, I don't think we can order. You can't order on a related table. We'll figure that out later. All right. So that looks good, I think. No. Current list. Yeah. Let's say look up current list.
And remember, everybody, rename your data resources before you use them, because that's not dynamic.
That's right. All of your data binding references your data resources by name. Look, that did work. All right. So let's go ahead and add something to our grocery list. I think for this one.
In before stylized text.
Yeah. So let's make this let's style it. And then I think I'm going to put a column layout in it. Oh, the column layout is kind of responsive, and so I don't think that's going to work. So let's do a grid. And we're going to give it 2 columns and 1 row. And then in our first, you know what? We don't even need that container. We can make this one a grid. No, I was wrong. Don't mind me. All right, so the first one we are going to do a stylized text here. And we did those as H3. I think we want this to be a little smaller. And we want it to be, we're in the repeater. We have a value. Oh, did we bind anything to the repeater or did I skip that?
No, you totally skipped that.
I'm sure I did. That's why there was 2 in there. So this is our lookup current list items. Apply. And then in our stylized text, we want to grab, I may not have told it to get the right. No. The created data is the display value on that table. Let's go current list items. We need to tell it what fields we want.
That's interesting. I guess it doesn't set a display value when you create it from AES.
All right, there we go. Yogurt, that'll work. All right, we're halfway in. Got item, and then we'll add yogurt. Oh, I know why this happened. That's all right.
I may have broken something with that last record there. Disregard.
Oh, okay. No worries. All right, so we have our
see my business rule didn't quite work because we have pizza on both lists.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to fix that right now.
No, it worked. So I think UIB just wasn't updated all the way. Like it has to refresh its data resources and everything. So this looked like it worked. Or did you manually delete them? Nice. All right. So we have our grocery list. I still don't love the spacing there. I wonder if can we add like we add a border to this? or a background. Let's add a background. Then I need more spacing in my. Let's do this.
I think what was happening is that adding records through App Engine Studio wasn't triggering my business rules. So I want to see what will happen when you do it.
All right, now for my container, we can add some padding in here. All right, so now we want to do a little bit of automation here where when I click one of these, it should add it over here, and then we'll add like a remove icon that moves it back over here. So with this card-based container, I have an interaction, so I can say click or select. So if I say click, then it's going to fire, it just fires different events. I think if I do select, it'll highlight it. But we're going to do click. And then we need to say, we need a create record data resource here. I think it was already at the top, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then
you have to do it from the event.
Right. I was just staring at it.
It always trips me up.
List item. All right, and then my card-based container should fire an event for card clicked. And you can see that for card selected set, there was a different event. So we're going to say create list item, execute. We're going to do this against that list item table.
List to?
Yeah, item to list.
Item to list.
All right, and then we're going to set list to my client state. We'll go current list. And then the item is going to be, I'm in the repeater. So the item is going to be value, available item, dot value.
I fixed the display value.
Did I do display value?
No, I fixed it.
Oh, okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. I think that's all it's going to take. And then we want to refresh our data resources. So we're going to refresh the grocery items and the grocery list items. So let's see if this works.
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so eggs. Hey, that worked. So we got eggs over here and it disappeared over here.
Nice.
So I hate the scroll bar. It's because we added padding and it annoys me. And then we need a little trash can icon. I wonder if we just put it to the left here. No,
no, don't put it to the left.
So after the stylized text, let's use a real button.
Oh.
Say remove.
So functionally speaking, here's random question of the day. Is there any performance impact or any reason why we should or should not have the refresh events on the card click event versus doing those refreshes from the data resource success event?
Yeah, so when we in the create, you're actually right. We probably should do it from the data resource event.
Because those events from the click can happen in any order, right?
Yes, that is a good point. So technically, it's all asynchronous. In reality, they pretty much always happen in order, but you are right. We should do that based on the data resource success. Good call out. So let's go. When we succeed, then we want to refresh our data resources. That also helps us if there's a different way that we can add something to the list, then it will automatically update. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Because ideally, we could create a handled event and then fire that handled event from anywhere, but we'll do that. We'll do it this way. Grocery items, list items. And then for remove, we're going to want to add a delete data resource. Oh, that's not one of my popular ones.
Travis wants for you to elaborate on what the advantage of putting it on the data resource event is.
I mean, the main thing is we will refresh the list after the database operation happens. Whereas if we did it all in a row, it's possible we could have some sort of race conditions issue and they could happen out of order, and we'd refresh before it actually got added, and then you wouldn't see it on the screen. It also allows us, if we had like a, maybe we add something at the bottom where you can write in your like a freeform thing. And then if we use the create record data resource for that, then it would just automatically refresh everything. We don't have to add those data resources multiple times.
Oh, that's a really good point.
So, and then I'm going to rename. So not all components always need to be renamed, but there are some components like buttons that most of the time you end up with multiple buttons on a page. And once your content tree gets built out, it can be hard to know which button is which, especially if you have some next to each other. And buttons are one of those things that a lot of times you will go back and look at its events. And so you want to be able to target a button. So we're going to call this remove item. So I don't always rename components, but like containers are generally pretty good to rename. Buttons, I mean, really all of your components, you should probably rename.
Do as Brad says, not as Brad does. Rename everything.
I don't ever have to like build something that people actually use. So yeah, use actual best practices, not just what I do when I'm lazy.
Yeah, we should have a disclaimer here that the apps we build, while accurate and well functioning and done live, the reality of it is that they're not going to be used by anyone. So we often lose the apps. Instances go boom sometimes.
Yeah. We may or may not have access to the original You and I Hungy app.
Yeah, we may or may not have completely lost it.
It might have been like 3 developer instances ago for me that I never backed up.
So back up all your apps, everybody.
Right. Oh, delete. We should rename the delete data resource too.
I don't think I've ever used it.
It's especially helpful with M2Ms where you have to delete stuff. Delete list item.
Travis is right. You should get into the habit of putting all of your apps on source control.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is actually a great idea. I'll go through and do that with this instance after my vacation. I'll make a note for future me.
That's right.
I'm having a lot of fun just writing down, hey, future me, here's the stuff you got to do when you have to care again. No, Travis, we will not lose any more apps.
All right, so we need the sysid of this record. Yes, that's right. think that's right. And then on the delete list item, we're going to do the same thing where we update our data resources. So let's see if this works. All right, so if we go eggs, it does work. Eggs is back, and it went away from this list.
Magic.
So I think we're already more successful than we were on that episode, I bet.
And to be fair, granted, asterisk here, the reason why this is so easy is because Brad this time decided that we would handle that little bit of automation outside of UI Builder. So it looks so easy and simple because there's a business rule in the background handling it so that whenever an item gets added to a list, it gets removed from the available table.
Let's say it's
we
a
didn't
flow.
have to do it.
Nobody else.
Oh, it's a flow.
Let's just say it's a flow. Yeah.
I forgot. It's a flow.
All right. Do we think we can add a search box in the next 10 minutes? I bet we can. So we can search these grocery items. Although now I don't want the search box to go all the way across because it's not searching this. So let's do this.
I feel like a way to create new lists would be great.
Oh, new available items?
No, new lists. Oh, or new available items. That works.
Let's do a search first.
Okay.
We'll see how far we can get. All right. So I want to go. Let's add a container in here. And in that container, we're going to add a search input. That is too big. All right, I want it to have a little more room. So let's give it, we're going to call this search available grocery item. Is that too long a placeholder? I don't know.
I feel like you put that in the wrong place.
I think you're right. Nope, I don't want now mobile. Let's put it here. Hey, that's better. Why did you not? Okay. All right, and now we need a client state parameter that's going to handle our search term.
Hi, Daniel. Nice to see you.
And then on our search executed event, we're going to update that client state parameter. And this is one of those fun times where the search component likes to break the rules. So we're going to say payload.search term because I know what the payload is like. And then we want to go to grocery items, and we're going to edit our conditions. Let's say available item, name contains our search term. Then we're also going to add a refresh event here. And then does it fire an event or anything else? No. All right. I think that'll work.
Should we fire the create record from the suggestion inputted event?
Well, so if you want to use the suggestion, then you have to give the search input the search configuration so that
Oh,
it
okay.
does the drop down. So in this case, it's, I think if we just search like, that looks bad. Yeah, we'll get bananas here.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that worked.
That was way quicker than I thought it would be.
So let's do a little bit with this container here, and we'll add.
Can you put available grocery items on the same container just to the left?
Of the left of the search.
One above each other.
Yeah, they're above each other now. So do we want to add, let's do this. Let's go available grocery items. Here, let's do this, and we'll add a button as well. And then we'll add a new button. Ooh, if we add an item, do we want it to go directly to the grocery list? I think probably, right?
I think yes.
You wouldn't want to create a new item unless you want to add it. Let's do that.
I feel like it needs to do both.
Yeah, so we need, oh, we can use the same. So we're going to call this, we're just going to call it create item here. We can use
rename the bottom.
So you only ever need one create or delete data resource because you can pass stuff into them. So I didn't rename the name of it, just the label. So for add item, we're gonna call that same data resource twice. So we'll go. We want to create. Okay. In the interest of time, we're going to add the item to this list and then manually add it to this list because I think it'll be more complex if we have to do both at the same time. And I have a call in 10 minutes, so we gotta get going. UI available items. Oh yeah, I need to name it or something, huh? I can't just hit the button. Should we have a modal? No, let's do this. Let's go. I'm all over the place today. Let's add another component before. Let's add an input. Type text. Oh no. That's unfortunate. What did we lose? That's unfortunate. My UIB crashed.
I guess this is where we're ending today.
I think we may just end here and pick it up another day. But we were successful. I think we ended further than we did before. So even with UIB crashing, it did work.
And it looks so much better than before. I'm very excited for my comparison screenshots I'm going to post later today. So
nice.
I think that was wildly successful. We can just ignore the last 30 seconds of the demo. Before we head off, I wanted to let y'all know what's coming here in the next couple of months. So me and Brad are completely abandoning you guys next show. On June 27th, Let me confirm. Yes. On June 27th, we're going to have an all-guest cast. They are going to attempt something. I still haven't quite decided what yet. Maybe a little challenge. We shall see. But the guest and guest builder live episode is going to be on the 27th. It is going to be a blast, and I invite y'all to come back. And then July, we're actually going to have a little special event where we're going to be working through our Knowledge 2024 labs. So be sure to tune in on the 11th of July for all things workspaces. And then on the 25th of July, we're going to have the conclusion to the Notes app that Brad has built on this show over like 2 or 3 episodes. And then we've rescheduled Build a Long Month to August. Just wait until August. You'll see what's coming. Other than that, any final words, Brad?
No, not for me. I'm good.
Fantastic. Thank you all so very much for hanging out and for showing up. And Brad and I will see y'all in July. Bye-bye.
Wow.